Hey everybody, Sprigzilla here, and this video is not necessarily a Far Cry 4 video. It's actually me going to be updating you on what the hell has been going on, because you may or may not have been informed or knew, but a few days ago I had surgery. I had my gastric bypass. Just for clarification, today is the 1st of December. I had my gastric bypass on the 26th of November, which is what? 5 days ago. Well, let's start from the top, shall we? I'm going to give a little bit of a rundown on what actually happened, how well it's gone and all, blah blah blah. I'm just going to give you an update on what's going on. So, 7:30 on Wednesday morning, I was at the hospital in Chichester, at the St Richard's Hospital. I was booked in for the surgery and then proceeded to wait until about half past 3. So that was what, a lot, 6-8 hours, something like that, worth of just sitting around doing nothing. In that time I wasn't able to drink, I wasn't able to eat anything, and from the night previous, midnight previous, I wasn't able to drink anything either. So by the time I got into surgery at 3:30, I had pretty much been nil by mouth for about 16-18 hours, something stupid like that. So I was pretty peeved. But I got into the surgery at about 3:30 after another half an hour delay, which was quite funny actually, because they walk you down to the surgery, so you literally, you're in your gown, you've pretty much not got much else on, you've got a dressing gown on, all that sort of stuff, and you're walking down to the surgery, and it's not a short journey. It literally took 5 minutes to get from my ward to the surgical unit, and then they proceeded to sit you down and make you wait for a little bit longer. The funny thing is because I hadn't eaten for like 2 weeks before that, I was quite peeved at what they had on the TV while we were waiting. They had the Great British Bake Off, one of their episodes. I think it's something to do with cakes this time round. And I was just sitting there, I couldn't watch it because I just got so angry the fact that I couldn't eat, and then they show this program while you're waiting for a gastric bypass. It seemed not cool at all. Anyway, went into surgery. As far as I'm aware, the surgery went absolutely fine. It took around 2 hours to do, and then I was out into recovery. Now, I have conflicting reports on how long I was actually in recovery from, but I got out of surgery about 5:30. I was back in my ward by about 6:30, so about an hour's worth of recovery. Sometimes it can take longer, sometimes it can take less time, but on average it's usually between an hour and 2. So I was back in the ward in my bed by 6:30. I was moving around, I was drinking water. One of the horrible things about the recovery is that I felt like I was not in control, and that everything was really difficult and everything was really sluggish, and I was always in and out of focus, which was really difficult to deal with. If any of you have been unconscious from concussion or something like that, when you start to wake up from that sort of deal, you'll have this like blurred vision, and then it'll focus a little bit and then it'll go back to blurred. That's exactly the same sort of feeling. And on top of that, my mouth was incredibly dry, and I mean, it's if you can, I don't know, imagine the Sahara in your mouth. Basically, that's what it tasted like and felt like. It felt like someone had poured sand down my throat. So I ended up obviously requesting water. Now, this is a good thing to do, everybody. If you're going to be having a surgery of some description and you're going to be put to sleep for it, anaesthetic and all that sort of stuff, then request water as soon as you can, because it'll ease everything that will happen in the recovery period. I promise you this, if you can get the words out, give me some water, really quickly, it'll make everything a lot better. I certainly found that when I requested water straight away, because technically they're not really allowed to do so, because obviously you've literally just had surgery. and it might be a health hazard to do so. It might be a choking hazard, but I was able to have and swill water around without actually swallowing it, so that made a difference to me, and it made my recovery better. And eventually, after a few minutes, they'll actually allow you to swallow it, and then you'll know if you put some of that water back up, then they know straight away that there's a problem. So, you know, it's good to get that really out of the way quickly. So if you have your wits about you when you come out of your recovery, out of the surgery, then I recommend you ask for water straight away. You'll need it, I promise you. Anyway, you're back on the ward, everything seems to be okay. You're starting to move, you're starting to feel things, you're starting to feel a little different. You can notice now when you look down, you can see your body, you can see what... for me, I was in my robe, but I took my robe off very quickly because I was quite hot. And something that you may get straight away is shakes. I got the shakes quite badly within, you know, about an hour after the surgery. It's just the shock of the surgery, really. You don't necessarily feel cold or hot. You just get the shakes. As simple as that. I got the shakes, and I required my gown off. I thought, I'm not having this gown on. It just restricts everything about my movement and such. And I had my shorts on, so it was all right. I wasn't going to get naked or anything. I had my shorts on, and generally, I started to feel better instantly. As soon as I was back in bed in my ward, I started to feel better. One thing to remember is, however unpleasant the recovery period is, I promise you, every second that you endure the uncomfortableness, I don't even think that's the right, yeah, whatever. Every second that you endure it, the better things become. I promise you. You may feel at the time that nothing is getting better and you don't feel better. Time. All you need is a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. Relax, try and make sure that you don't feel tense. Because if you tense up and you start struggling with the things, it'll make it worse. And obviously it's very difficult for me to tell you this, because, you know, some of you will react different to others. So, yeah. Anyway, after the recovery period, after you've gone back to your bed, you'll be asked to drink constantly, not constantly, but you'll be asked to sip water up until you try and go to sleep. Now, I suffered from no sleep that evening. There was no point that I was going to be sleeping that night, and that's just me. I think it was just the fact that I was in a strange bed. The lights weren't off completely because I like pure darkness. There were beeping all over the place, even though there was only 2 other people in the room with me. The nurses always wanted to keep track of the stuff that's going on, so blood pressure stuff and heart monitors and all that, the breathing monitors. The breathing monitors are actually a bit stupid because it monitors your movement of your body rather than the actual breathing. So if you change the way you breathe slightly, if you inhale by your nose or your mouth, it changes the way your body moves as well. And if that cuts out for a second on the monitor, then it'll start beeping. And that was another reason why I didn't sleep particularly well. It didn't affect my recovery though, so don't worry about not sleeping, especially if you have surgery quite late in the day, which some of you may end up having because of extenuating circumstances. Yeah, I got that out. It may happen, and therefore you may not sleep. The nurses at Chichester Hospital in the Chichester Suite are brilliant. They are brilliant. They don't get annoyed with you because you're up all night and you're walking about and you're asking for things to happen and all this sort of stuff, and you're asking for medication and all this. They are brilliant, all of them. I can't fault them. I've already written a card to them to say thank you very much for basically putting up with me, because I'm not a fantastic person when I'm ill. I'm actually a bit of a knob, so I'm pleased that we got through it the best we did. So after the first night, if you've slept, great, you'll probably feel better straight away in the morning. If you don't, then it's just the way it is. You know, it's a gastric bypass. You just had major surgery. You're not going to feel fantastic anyway. I, on the other hand, felt pretty good when I eventually got up in the morning. I was walking about fairly well. I didn't have any discomfort anywhere really. I felt a little bit of bloatedness. That's the main overriding feel, and I was a little sore. My movement was a little bit jagged and kind of rough, as it were, but I was moving around fairly well. I was walking around the suite and around the ward, and generally I coped well. Maybe that's because I'm young, and it may not be so great for people who are older or a lot older than me when it comes to moving around. But the more moving you do on that kind of first day of recovery, the better you'll feel for it, because something comes later. One thing that I forgot to mention in the recovery kind of section and throughout the rest of the first day, is that you're going to have pain in your chest from where you have trapped gas in your stomach. You can't get around that, unfortunately. By the end of the first day, and maybe into the second day of recovery, you'll find that goes away somewhat, and it'll get better and better. The more you burp, the more you pass gas, basically. I find that the best way of doing it is to fart, but if you can't fart, then burp as much as you can. Hence, the water is very useful for this. Something I found towards the middle of that second day of, or the first day of recovery, the first full day of recovery, is that the pain from my chest, from where the stomach is filled with all the air, it actually moves to your shoulder. And for most people it will be the left shoulder. For me it was my right shoulder, because I'm left-handed, so they did everything on the other side to normal. So all my pain was in my right shoulder, and it is unpleasant and it's very painful. It may differ as well to some people. Some people think it's more of a sharp pain. I felt it more as a muscle pain, that it was a muscle issue rather than a you know, like a stabbing pain or anything like that. So it may differ from people to people. They will start to make you eat a little bit. They'll try you with soup and jelly to begin with. Usually that's the first meal you'll have at lunchtime on your first full day of recovery, and then in the evening they will ask you what you want for tea. I had beef casserole and mashed potatoes, and that went down okay. I didn't eat very much. You don't feel hungry, or at least I didn't feel hungry, and I didn't get very much down, but it didn't then come back up. If it comes back up, then they know there's some form of issue. If it stays down and you feel okay with it, then this is the point where you're probably likely to be able to go home. It's usually after about 6 o'clock, once they've fed you tea and that they know that you can keep the food down, they know you can keep the water down, you're not in too much pain, and everything's ready, and you are able to get home, then most likely they will let you go home. If you have pain and you just want to get home, I honestly recommend you don't go. I recommend you stay that night, you stay the second night, and you get as many painkillers as you can, because if you can get rid of some of that pain before you go home, you'll feel a lot better. Because when you get home and you start to have that pain, you can't ask for certain things that the hospital can give you. Although the hospital gives you some stuff to take home with you, it's never going to be as good as the stuff you'll actually get when you're at hospital. The last kind of bit I want to deal with here is suppositories. Now, suppositories are the little pills that go up your bum in your ear, as it were. Now, some of you are going to be like, well, I don't want anything up my arse. I don't want anything up my bum. I don't want it. I don't want no one going anywhere near it. For a start, they may already have done it when you're in surgery, and there's nothing you can do about it. Secondly, when you start to feel some of the pain, especially the shoulder pain, you will be asking for the suppository. I can almost certainly guarantee you, because I did it on the Thursday afternoon of my first full day of recovery. my pain got to a certain level that I just realised I can't keep putting up with it because I should. I'm putting up with it because I'm trying to be hard and I'm trying to be strong and I'm trying to be a man. Forget about it. Get the pain relief, because the pain relief will help. It won't just help with the pain, it'll help get rid of some of that gas as well. Get rid of some of that dignity, folks. Nurses do this sort of stuff all the time. Once you get through to that, once you get past it, you'll feel better. And I promise you, it's an uncomfortable feeling to begin with, having someone stick a finger up your bum bum. But I promise you this, within half an hour, you won't even give a shit. Literally, forgive the pun. Anyway, so that's really the hospital visit. That's the 2-day hospital visit. You may incur the 3rd day hospital visit, which basically requires you to stay the night on the second night, as it were, and for you to eat something in the morning on the 3rd day. But the likelihood is if you're recovered enough, they'll let you go home on the 2nd day. Just make sure that you're going home for the right reasons and not just because you don't want to be there. That's my only regret really, is that I stayed out longer than I should. I should, in all honesty, have gone and stayed the 2nd night. So don't rush to get out. Just really think about it. Anyway, once you get home, once you start the recovery, you need to move around. You need to move around quite a lot. You need to keep watered and keep feeling good. Don't sleep. Don't all day. Don't lay in bed all day. Don't lay on the sofa all day. Move about. Every 45 minutes, every hour, get up, move around, walk around a little bit. Even if it's up the stairs to go to the bathroom, or if it's into the kitchen to get a cup of tea, or out around the back garden if you have a back garden. Just have a little wander around, and then go back and sit down for half an hour, 45 minutes. Sit and watch a film for a couple of hours. Just make sure that you stand up and take a 5 or 10 minute break halfway through, and just have a little wander around. And if you're lucky enough, if your TV's big enough in your front room, get up and just walk round to the other side of the sofa and just stand and watch the TV for a few minutes. Just wander around. Because I promise you this, if you suffer from the shoulder pains, which inevitably, probably like 90% of you will at some point have the shoulder pains, it may hurt to move around, but it also helps to move around. So remember that. Remember that sometimes, in order to get rid of the pain, you have to endure the pain. It's some of the best shit I've come up with recently. So my kind of term of this last few days is just deal with it. Just deal with it. Get over it. Do it. Because this procedure that you're about to embark on, or you've already started, it will change your life. It's already changed my life. I feel it. I could feel it in every aspect of my life. When I spoke to my personal trainer, she said to me that I seem sharper in general, not necessarily in looks, but in general. My attitude and my vocal ability, this seems sharper. It seems as if I'm cutting through some of the shit, and I'm focused about things, which is, I think, is one way to describe how I feel at the moment. Is quite straight and narrow, very focused on the things that are going to happen to me over the next few days and weeks and months. Anyway, this has been quite a long-winded video, and I'm going to carry on because there's more stuff to talk about. So if you are sick of this already and you don't give a shit, you probably waited quite a long time to figure out that there's actually no real footage of this game. It's just me stood here looking. Shall I just change the view for a little bit? There we go. Let's change it to that one. Okay, so the second part of this video is as such. Peppermint tea is, even though you may hate it, the hospital at Chichester will serve peppermint tea. If you get a chance to have peppermint tea, you can even have it with a couple of sweeteners, then do so, because I promise you this, the first time you have a cup of that peppermint tea, you will be burping your arse off, literally, for the first 15 minutes afterwards. And what does burping do? It gets rid of some of that gas that you've got trapped in your stomach, in your body. You get rid of some of that gas, your arm ain't gonna hurt as much. Simple as that. 1 cup of peppermint tea, maybe 2 a day. Don't overdo it though. You don't need more than two a day, I'd have thought. And you'll start feeling better. I had 2 cups of peppermint tea on the Thursday, and then I had 1 on Friday. And after that, my shoulder pain was gone. Quite literally, it was gone. There are a few twinges here and there, but generally, as I sit on Monday afternoon, the 1st of December, I have no shoulder pain whatsoever, and I haven't had it for at least a day. So peppermint tea, one of the biggest things I can honestly think that you should consume at least. And even if you don't like it, I didn't like it. It was all right with sweetener, but generally it's not an exactly pleasant drink to have. But try it, see what you think. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You haven't hurt yourself from doing it. So try it out. Take some with you when you go to the hospital, or make sure you've got some at home when you come home from hospital. It should be pretty good. Right, how are you going to feel? Well, apart from your shoulder hurting, not much else is going to hurt. You're going to feel uncomfortable, especially around the midriff area, because that is going to be swollen up. And you're going to have your little kind of, what I call bullet wounds, but they're 6 patches where you've got plasters, where you've been cut open. I've got 6, if I just quickly check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6. 5 in pretty much like a down, like a sad face. My lips are in a sad face, and then I've got 1 like a cyclops eye above the middle one. So it looks like a cyclops, really unhappy. I may take a photo of it, I may not. I don't want to creep you out, but it looks like a cyclops has really been upset about something. And they're not very big at all. I think the biggest one is maybe an inch wide. That's it. The others are not even a 1/4 of an inch wide. The plasters that they give you are shower proof, so you can have a shower as soon as you can. They want you to have one. I had one the morning after the surgery, and I had no problems whatsoever. In fact, if you are at Chichester, you'll find that there's a beautiful shower in the Chichester suite, which I recommend you getting on straight away, basically, because on top of the fact that it's a really good shower, it's actually got a seat in there as well, which I always like to sit in the shower. I'm going to say that again just in case you misheard what I said. I always like to sit in the shower. It's better than standing, certainly better than standing as far as I'm concerned, although I can't do it at home because then I won't be able to get back up. Anyway, so what are you going to feel? Well, you're going to feel uncomfortable, you're going to feel a bit stiff in places, you're going to feel a little bit of weirdness around your stomach area, or where you believe your stomach to be, what's left of your stomach. You're going to feel that you're not hungry at all, and then you're going to have to force yourself to eat somewhat. I found that if you eat something and then stand up, you'll feel the food. You'll actually feel the food hit the stomach, as it were. And sometimes that'll give you an idea of how much your stomach is full. If your stomach's full, then you know not to eat anymore. If it isn't full, you can then sit back down again and have a little bit more food. And when I say a little bit more, I mean like 1 or 2 teaspoons worth of food, not like 3 tablespoons. I'm talking about teaspoons here, folks. So, yeah. In terms of diet, it's pretty straightforward. You can have anything you want as long as you don't go fucking nutty. Okay? As long as you don't become an idiot and you eat Mars bars, liquefied Mars bars. Don't do that, because that'd just be stupid. What I have defined for my breakfast is ready brek in the morning, followed by maybe a yogurt or sugar-free custard, or lightly sugared custard which is absolutely fine. I did have corned beef hash the other night. Probably not the best meat to have, corned beef, but if you cut the fats off and stuff and make sure that it's pureed properly, I quite enjoyed it. Beef casserole is really good. Chicken casserole. There was a chicken curry actually on the menu in the hospital, so you can have a very mild chicken curry if you want to. Just don't do the rice just yet. There was all kinds of stuff. There was cauliflower cheese, all kinds of vegetables. Avoid bread for the most part, but you can have it if you're going to have soup. You can liquefy it in soup. Just make sure that the bread is like a brown bread, because you'll probably need the fibre as well as you need the protein and such. Pasta's a good one to avoid because it obviously expands, and you can literally have one plop of one pop of pasta and you're pretty much done. So don't do pasta. All kinds of stuff you can do. If you can liquefy something, then or puree something, then you can pretty much have it. You just gotta not be an idiot. Just don't be an idiot. Okay? That's one of the rules of the universe. Don't be an idiot. You know what I mean? Don't be an idiot. So there we go. Not much is going on other than that. One thing to avoid. Try and eat a little bit of fibre, because you don't want to not be pooing, because that will make you feel uncomfortable. It may hurt a little bit in the old digestive area. That's something that I'm suffering with at the moment. I know too much information, but if you can get over that constipation, if you can get kind of regular, as it were, you'll feel better about things. So that's really about it. There's not much else that I can think of. If I do think of anything, I'll either post it in the comments or make an addendum to the video, i.e. another video to add to stuff. But generally, I think things are okay. And if you can get out of the hospital and a week goes by and you're feeling alright, then the likelihood is you're going to be fine. If something goes wrong within the first 2 or 3 days, it's good that it goes wrong then and not further down the line. So if it goes wrong then, it can be fixed, and it can be fixed quick. So don't be worried about things, just let things happen. If things happen badly, then it's not meant to be. And if things improve and you feel better and start to do all the stuff that you want to do, then you won basically, and then you can continue winning. Anyway, that's been me, Briggs, Alex, whoever you know me as, whoever knows me as what. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry it's been a pretty boring video, but generally it's been worth it, I think. Just for the people who are wondering what the hell has happened to me, and people who are wondering how and what and why and all this sort of stuff, then this is some information for that, and there's obviously a lot of information in the vlogs previous. Just another update as well to why I'm not showing you my face rather than doing something like with this Far Cry 4 footage. Well, the reason is because I am on media silence, media blackout as it were. I want to make my transformation complete by posting a video of me in about 6 months' time showing you what's changed in my body. Because the last thing you want to do is see me every week not changing, and it would annoy me as well. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for a few months, maybe do it 3 months, maybe do it 6. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Far Cry 4 stuff, because there's quite a few of these coming out. Enjoy.